Welcome to Buckingham Business Review. My name is Bernie Wolford. I'm your host. I'm president of Buckingham Associates. Our video magazine deals with the intersection of strategy, tactics, and people. And we are in the middle of several segments with Mr. Craig Lesser. Craig is a former commissioner of the Georgia Economic Development Department for the state of Georgia and managing partner with Pendleton. And in our previous segments, hopefully you will go back and watch them if you have not, we've talked a lot about foreign companies coming to the states, the criteria, some mistakes they made. Craig, now we're going to turn the tables and talk about municipalities, those desperately seeking to attract both domestic and international companies. What are some of the key success factors, some things they need to know, I guess number one, to be on the list, and number two, to be selected? Or at least a finalist?
Well, it's a great question because it's a very competitive situation. In Georgia alone, we have 500 cities and 159 counties. And so the competition is fierce. People think right away of our larger cities, Atlanta, Savannah, Macon, Rome, Columbus. But many, many other cities and communities in the state are in desperate need of investment and job growth. How are they attacking that? Some more successfully than others, obviously. Those that are attacking it successfully, in my opinion, are bringing about a number of things that I think will be attractive to investors. Not in any particular order, but important all the same. Leadership. And now I'm trying to get away from using the word leadership because we've used it so much that I don't know that it means anything. But I think statesmanship. And that means that people in elected office, people in senior positions in the community need to act as statesmen and not necessarily looking at their own agenda, but looking at the good of the community and making decisions that are good for the community. One of those important decisions, how you bring people together. Because when people come together, that's a very attractive environment for investors. If you're a foreign investor or an American investor coming to your community, and you see, you come to a reception where everybody's going to greet you as an investor, but the education people are in one corner and the elected officials are in another corner and the business people are in another corner. You say, is this a community that's working together? Is it hospitable? Is it going to be there for me when I'm finished after I invest and maybe have some issues? Am I going to be able to bring everybody together? But in a community where everybody's working together, that just means so much to somebody making an investment. You have to have the basics. You have to have the infrastructure. You have to have internet connectivity. Many of these communities still do not have that.
Wow.
Well, that makes it a real challenge for communication, for information flow. You've got to really upgrade your transportation, whether that's your local streets and highways or your transit systems. Having good transportation is very important for employees to get from one place to the other. And I think maybe most importantly is having a really solid education system within the community, K through 12. That's where generally we have been lacking, not only in Georgia, but throughout the Southeast. And that's where we really need to concentrate our efforts. If we concentrate our efforts almost solely on improving our educational stance, all of these other issues will begin to fade as overly significant issues. Because you've got to have smart people to operate in a smart, intelligent world today.
You know, I have to admit, it's not necessarily top of mind when I think about a client and looking at a location and so forth. My top of mind, transportation, maybe the internet connectivity, but yes, they're going to be asking current employees to relocate there. They're going to be trying to attract good talent to come join them as they grow, and these are, I might call them the soft issues, but they sound like they're tremendously important issues.
They become very significant. What I've learned over the years is what you necessarily learn in a graduate business class doesn't necessarily apply to the real world. When the decision maker says, look, where am I going to put my kids in school? How am I going to attract executives to bring their families? And where am I going to find the workforce that's going to actually come in right away and get the work done for me?
Exactly. So I guess I'm probably a victim of the headlines because I see XYZ company has chosen ABC location, and usually by the third paragraph they're talking about a 10-year tax holiday and training grants from the state and so forth. So that's what I'm sort of absorbing as being important in their decision, and you're opening my eyes and the eyes of our audience, I think, as to some of the other variables.
And I'm not negating that as an important process, a significant factor in the decision-making process. Look, your CFO is going to say, where's the money?
Sure.
And what's the bottom line to the company? And so in order to compete, you have to have some kind of a tax program that is optimal and something that's attractive. Again, you're competing with cities, counties, and countries around the world who are willing to dole out money or at least reduce the tax rate for you in order to get that investment. You have to be really careful though, because some of those investments, some of those tax abatements, and some of those incentives aren't always long-term benefits to the community.
Excellent. Well, Craig, once again, thank you so much for coming on. We'd like to have you bear with us and ask you to do one more segment on the international thing. We must talk about Kia.
Okay.
It's such a great case study, and with your agreement, we'd love to bring you back for at least one more time with Kia as being the headline.
An honor to be here.
Thank you. Once again, Bernie Wolford, host of Buckingham Business Review, thank you for being with us, and please join us again when we'll be talking to Craig about the fabulous success story, particularly here in Georgia, of Kia Motors. So until we're together again, this is Bernie Wolford, your host. So long for now.